So apparently there's reports going around that Conor McGregor said February 1st, Saudi Arabia against Dan Hooker. And of course, you already know Dan Hooker is on board with that 1000%. That payday would be massive for him. And although this fight, I think would be a great fight. Conor McGregor is very clear he doesn't want to go down to 155. And Dan Hooker is a massive 155er, so I'm sure he won't be against not having to cut those extra few pounds. But, and this is a very big but.
Get back on the mat. Get back on the mat. Get back on the mat. Hey, Conor, get back on the mat. Stay tuned, baby. Stay tuned.
Hey, all I'm saying is, look, man, I know Dana White want to say he don't do the gimmick fights and all this stuff, but let's be real. A fight between Terrence Bud Crawford and Conor McGregor would be absolutely freaking massive. And they could easily do it at like a catch weight of 160, maybe 165. Look, Bud has been calling out Canelo, been wanting to fight Canelo, and that's all the way up at 168. I am sure he will definitely be willing to take a fight with Conor McGregor around 160, 165 pounds. This fight would be absolutely massive, man. Oh my God. I think a lot of people don't understand that Crawford isn't just a boxer. You know what I mean? He has a wrestling background. Believe it or not, his grandfather, his father, his uncles, as well as his sons were and are wrestlers. So if you think Terrence only got those hands and he don't know how to wrestle, I think you're going to be sorely mistaken. I think the only disadvantage he's really going to have is in the kick department because Conor McGregor, you know, he has that karate style, very bouncy on his feet. A big part of his arsenal are his kicks. And unfortunately, Terrence Crawford's legs aren't going to be trained to take those leg kicks, but the matchup nonetheless is going to be extremely interesting. Come on now, Dana White and the UFC have done this before. They did it with James Toney and Randy Couture. And this fight would be so much freaking bigger than that. It might break records. It might be the biggest sporting event that the UFC has ever put on. The only way I could see Dana White not doing this is that if Terrence Crawford should win, because if they make this matchup, it's going to instantly become a boxing versus MMA thing. And if Conor should lose, it is going to look really, really bad on the promotion. You know, the James Toney, Randy Couture thing was a little bit more lopsided because we all knew James Toney wasn't going to have a ground game. He really only had a puncher's chance to knock out Randy Couture. If Couture got him on the mat, it was already over. But in a fight like this where Terrence Crawford has really good stand-up, and should Conor get into some trouble and try to go for a takedown, I'm sure Terrence Crawford has the wrestling to defend it. Not to mention how long Conor has been out of the game, so who knows what he's going to look like. And in his prime, he had cardio issues. Look, man, I think this matchup is going to be a lot more even than people might initially think. But what? Conor only has a couple fights left on his contract. He's probably going to fight out his contract and go retire and go be a promoter for the BKFC. So why not just give us the fun fights we want to see? If we're being real, Conor's not going to be fighting his way to a title shot. There's just no way. They'll honestly be really lucky even if he wins his next matchup. So instead of taking the risk and putting him up against Dan Hooker or somebody, and then maybe he gets the win and then maybe you shoot him to a title shot, which would still be unfair, why not just do a mega fight with Terrence Crawford? I don't know. It sounds like a great idea to me. I don't know what y'all think about it. So feel free to let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. It would be crazy to see Terrence Crawford step in the octagon, let alone against someone like Conor McGregor. You already know that fight will be absolute fireworks. But of course, as always, I thank you all so much for the support, and I'll catch you in the next video.